dam. It's a word that means a lot of things to a lot of different people. However, to the people of Las Vegas, the dam is their life source. The Hoover Dam was built to make Lake Mead, the water source that is 90% of Las Vegas's water. The American West was settled during a relatively wet period, about the wettest century in 1,000 years. However, as climate cycling leads to a drier climate, and population increases, residents of the area of the West, specifically Las Vegas, have to come up with a lifestyle change because dams are not able to sustain water for the world population. I'm an environmental science major at the University of Minnesota. I'm incredibly passionate about water resources. That's my chosen concentration of study. And I've decided this because living in the Great Lakes area, I've grown up with water for granted my whole life, as have, I'm sure, a number of you. We have to understand that the people in the desert have a lot of problems with water resources, and we have to help them out also. Learning about their problem helps us to conserve more. So first, we're going to talk about how the problems started to create a situation where people in the West don't have enough water, the causes of the problem, and finally, how we're able to help them out and how they're able to help themselves. First, let's talk about the problem. We take water for granted. We think that there's a lot of water on Earth. However, 97.5% of this water is ocean. It's too salty to use for agriculture or for drinking. We have 2.5% of the total Earth's water is fresh water, and not all of that is even surface water. 21% of the 1% of surface water is located in the Great Lakes. So we've grown up with this for granted. The average American uses 100 to 120 gallons of water per day. Developing nations use between 2 to 5 gallons of water per person per day. In Las Vegas, the average person uses, according to the head of the Las Vegas Water Resource Department, Pat Mulhaney, they use 190 gallons per person per day. T.P. Barnett and D.W. Pierce, water scientists, wrote in Water Resources in 2008 that if Lake Las Vegas continues at this rate, the water in Lake Mead will be gone by the year 2021. Lake Mead was formed by the Hoover Dam. A dam is able to provide this reservoir. However, it slows down the river. Naturally, by slowing down the river, water can pick up more sediment. So by building this dam, they're sort of committing suicide because as this dam comes in, sediment is coming in to fill in the dam, in the reservoir, and reduce the capacity for water anyway. Further, you can tell that the levels in Lake Mead have been dropping, not just due to climate, but as you can see that there's a bathtub ring around the end. That's how high the water used to be, and now it's nowhere near that. The dam also can create problems downstream. Everything that a dam has affects the water downstream of it. It can cause flooding further downstream. It can take away flooding that, for example, in Egypt, dams along the Nile River made it so that now there's a bigger flood, but then not a flood when they need it for agricultural purposes. People don't always think about what happens when these dams are built. So also it adds to the ecological problem of fish being unable to get upstream, like salmon have a huge issue with not being able to get up the Columbia River in the northwest United States due to dams on that river. So now that we've discussed a lot of the problem and how people take water for granted and how dams cause a lot of problems, let's talk about how we got to this point. This is a map of the water transit into California. A lot of these are pipes, but a lot of them are open irrigation ditches. When the water's in an open ditch, it evaporates. It's a desert, it's hot. We're losing a lot of water by having to transport it this far. Living in the desert, people need to understand that they can't use as much water as they do. In Las Vegas, 47% of Lake Mead goes into irrigation, according to the City of Henderson's Las Vegas and North Las Vegas in a 2002 report. 47% of the 4% of the water that they are allotted from the Colorado River is not going to give to their children to drink themselves. It is going into creating a green lawn. This is a huge problem. In the desert, you need to understand to let nature have its own course. You can't have a green lawn in the middle of the desert. Pat Mulhaney, the Las Vegas Water Department district, says that Las Vegas is a city in desert denial. The Las Vegas Strip, which you might recognize here, the Bellagio Hotel, this fountain, you might think that this is a huge cause of the water problems in Las Vegas. However, this fountain and the other fountains along the Strip only use 3% of the water that the hotels are allocated. Most of the problems come from the insides of hotels, but they're trying to fix this by using low-flow toilets, having guests not have their towels washed every day. This is the problem. There are over 60 golf courses in Las Vegas. These golf courses use 70% of the water that hotels and entertainment parks are allotted to use. This comes from an NPR interview with Pat Mulhaney on NPR by Ted Robbins. So agriculture and golf courses and having a green lawn uses up most of the water in Las Vegas, getting them to the point where they're in a drought. It's not even a drought. With 4 inches of rain a year, people on average using 195 gallons a day aren't able to sustain themselves. So let's see what we can do to sustain Las Vegas and ourselves. The Las Vegas Water District is paying people $2 a square foot to strip their lawns and to have a more natural landscape like these two seen here. The Las Vegas Water District also offers lots of helpful tips on their website for how to make a garden like this and how to not have to pipe in water. They're also cracking down on people who are washing cars in an unsustainable way on their driveways or watering rocks. You can get tickets for that now. So what else you can do is you can write to your congressman, your representative, your senator. Make sure that they are aware that everybody knows about this huge problem. So in conclusion, amongst other issues like carbon and gas, severe water issues are really some of the most facing us today. Living in the Great Lakes, we don't realize this all the time, but a case study is a great way to show how the problem is affecting everybody, including us. Understanding that the problems in Las Vegas also affect the rest of America based on how we have to help them get water. We understand that we must conserve more. You can here make a rain garden like these, made of natural prairie grasses, that not only helps the groundwater maintain it, it also filters it itself. Finally, you can encourage the government to help too. So do this. Dam your personal water use and leave the dam building to the beavers.